9 out of 16 Nigerian leaders did not buy INEC forms. Yet they served their terms. One of them 9 years, General Gowon, President Babangida 8 years. Nothing could, they were not consistent with the then written constitution because the constitutions were suspended. The point I'm making is that you could be a president, you could be a head of state, you could be a leader, you could be a dictator. So long as you're allowed to remain there, and the big point here is that Tinubu was allowed and is allowed to remain there, despite the efforts of people like me. You remember my efforts. I called clearly for Tinubu Shetima not to be sworn in. And it was legal, it is legitimate.
Indeed, something happened to Nigeria in 2023, on the 29th of May 2023, when President Bola Tinubu was sworn in as the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this is Datti Ahmed still standing on what many Nigerians have been saying, especially when it comes to Aisha Yusufu calling Bola Tinubu's government illegitimate government, and Datti Ahmed is also addressing that, and that has always been a stand from day one. Bola Tinubu has been swearing as an illegitimate president of this country, and we can see what have been going on in the country for the past few years, which is like 2 years that Bola Tinubu have taken the office. It has been from one pain to another. I need you to continue to watch what Datti Baba-Ahmed said about the illegitimate president Bola Tinubu, and just drop your comments. Let's read from you. Let me see what you think.
Let's take it systematically, because you mentioned the last time you were on this program. Since we last spoke on this program, I notice you have not backed down from your maximalist demands of calling out the Tinubu government as illegitimate, even though there is absolutely no sign of any capitulation on their part, or for that matter, that anyone is taking that assessment seriously. So you essentially remain in a deadlock on that front, yet you insist that democracy ended in Nigeria on 29th May 2023, the day Mr. Tinubu was sworn in as president. Why do you maintain that position? And is it just chatter at the moment, given the fact that he is the legitimate president of Nigeria, or legitimately recognized as a president?
Thank you for that correction to yourself. Legitimately recognized. You see, a sworn-in government needs to be and must be consistent with the constitution of the country. And now, if I were to open the relevant sections to you that we have discussed before, they are at variance with the justice served on Nigeria. So with due respect to the justice system, it is valid to ask, did the custodians of the law do the lawful? And the answer is simply no. We do recognize that the courts have the power to do all and everything, but that all and everything must be justice. The sworn-in Tinubu Shetima government does not strictly comply with the Nigerian constitution as it were today. So it is not out of place for any objective mind to still call it unconstitutional. Mildly, one could say it is questionably constitutional. But then here's the big rejoinder to it. 9 out of 16 Nigerian leaders did not buy INEC forms. Yet they served their terms. One of them 9 years, General Gowon, President Babangida 8 years. Nothing could, they were not consistent with the then written constitution because the constitutions were suspended. The point I'm making is that you could be a president, you could be a head of state, you could be a leader, you could be a dictator. So long as you're allowed to remain there, and the big point here is that Tinubu was allowed and is allowed to remain there, despite the efforts of people like me. You remember my efforts. I called clearly for Tinubu Shetima not to be sworn in. And it was legal, it is legitimate up to now. Why? I gave my reasons. Then, did the Nigerian Constitution have an alternative to that? Yes, of course, very constitutional. Ahmed Lawal could have served to, I think, 8th or 9th of June. And at the point of electing a new Senate president, he acts out the balance of 90 days during which a second or rerun election was to be held because Tinubu Shetima did not satisfy the demands of the Constitution to be sworn in. However, it was allowed. I tried to legitimately form what I called then the Constitutional Crisis Resolution Group. All we had to do was to take 3 documents, the Constitution, INEC results, and the options. Go to Washington, Brussels, London, Addis Ababa, on 29th, occupy Eagle Square. Tinubu will not be there today. And the beauty of stopping injustice is that it will not perpetrate itself. Bad leadership is a virus. What do viruses do? They create more, they become more and more and more. We should have stopped this before it happened, and legitimately so, constitutionally so, irrespective of the powers, the DSS, the police, you simply serve a notice. You see, the word democracy is still having a great deal to be understood. When you have a democracy, it means that at some point in time, the people will come out and be the arbiters themselves. Right now, Nigerian governments are governments because they have the army, they have the police and all those security forces surrounding and protecting them while they misrule. And the Nigerian people have no propensity to really take up their government. Well, that is the meaning of democracy, that behind the Nigerian army, there is the army of the Nigerian people, whom if you transgress their constitution, they will come out against it. Well, now, bad leadership has realized the incapacity of Nigerians to come together and protect their rights. That is why I told you that if you cannot practice democracy, for God's sake, democracy is not for you. There were the hunger protests about last year also. But when you have 1,000 people doing what 1 million people should do, they will be trampled.
And the fact that Datti Ahmed has said something, Nigerians are also reacting to what he said. And that is them standing that, okay, this is so terrible. Things has been so hard in Nigeria. And indeed, this is an illegitimate president. How can Nigeria be suffering and the president is out of the country? And well, that has been a stand of many people, and that has been a stand of someone like Aisha, Yusuf, and everyone. Is Bola Tinubu your president? Is he an illegitimate president, as many Nigerians, as Datti Ahmed has always stand for?